For over 3,000 years, the Shang vanished. No ruins, no kings, no proof, just whispers in ancient books. Many historians once called them a myth. That changed in 1899. At a Beijing pharmacy, Qing scholar Wang Yirong bought a bundle of dragon bones for his malaria. When he looked closer, he saw strange carvings, shapes like teeth, fire and rain. These weren't cracks, they were writing. Wang told his friend Loewe, "These aren't medicine, they're history." That sentence, spoken in a quiet study, started the birth of Chinese archaeology. The trail led to Anyang, dusty town in northern Henan. In 1928, Chinese archaeologist Legge began the first professional dig. His team struck deep, beneath wheat fields, under pig pens, and unearthed one of the greatest finds in East Asia, Yinxu, the last capital of the Shang. The soil was red with iron, the air choked with dust, but what they found was older than Rome, older than Athens. The city stretched over 30 square kilometers with bronze workshops, temples, sacrificial pits, and tombs carved with terrifying precision. By 2020, over 100,000 oracle bones had been catalogued from Yinxu, many stored today at the Academia Sinica in Taiwan and the Palace Museum in Beijing. These bones confirm names of 30 Shang kings, matched to royal lineages listed in the Shiji by Sima Qian. One ox scapula read, "Crack the bone, will the king's tooth stop aching?" Another asked, "Will rain fall if 10 men are buried today?" These were not fables. These were court records, written in blood, fire and bone. As detailed in the Cambridge History of Ancient China, the Shang left no surviving temples, but they built their capital on the backs of war captives, carved commands into bone, and hid their empire beneath 3,000 years of silence.
Dig deep, scroll so truth survives. Toon-History, where the archive thrives. Subscribe, like, share, the dynasty speaks. From tomb to screen, across the week. From bone to bite, we trace the line. The past preserved, the myths aligned. Toon-History, the voice beneath the shrine. This is the scroll, this is the sign.
Before the Shang became kings, they were servants. For generations, they ruled as vassals under the shadow of the Xia. But that ended with one man, Tang of Shang, a ruler whose rise was so brutal, his victory became scripture. As recorded in the Shang Shu, Tang began with kindness. He cut taxes, fed the starving, and sent bronze knives to nearby clans, not as weapons, but as a warning. "Use these on your tyrant," he said, "or use them on yourselves." At the time, the Xia king Ji was feared across the land. His palace burned sandalwood for fuel. His wine pool drowned men for sport. Tang watched, waited, then struck. First, he built alliances. Tang married into rival tribes, sent out envoys, and stored food in 12 great granaries. A 2021 study by Shandong University's Archaeology department confirmed Shang control of over 40 major settlements before open war began. When Tang marched, he wore plain robes. His war banner showed no animal, no god, only a blank bronze square. On the eve of battle, he told his troops, "Heaven sees the people. If I fail them, let heaven strike me down." The war took 2 days. At the Battle of Mingtiao, rain poured over the fields like boiling oil. Thunder cracked above armies that fought in ankle-deep mud. Jie's soldiers fled without order. Many dropped their weapons and begged for mercy. When the dust settled, Tang stood over the broken Xia banners. He did not burn their cities. He did not kill Ji. Instead, he exiled him to Nanchao, where the last Xia king lived alone, guarded by his own shame. As detailed in the Cambridge History of Ancient China, Tang's conquest was not just military, it was moral. His story was later canonized by Confucian scholars as proof that heaven could revoke the mandate from evil kings. But the Shang had no word for mandate. For them, Tang ruled because his ancestors demanded it. In 1976, Chinese excavators unearthed a Shang-era tablet near Yanxi that recorded the coronation feast of Tang the Conqueror. It listed 3,000 guests, 600 oxen, and one terrifying note. Blood from the enemy's heart was offered to the rain god. In Shang China, power didn't come from land, gold, or armies. It came from the dead. Every Shang king ruled by speaking through ghosts specifically, the spirits of royal ancestors. These ancestors weren't remembered, they were feared. If angered, they could bring famine, plague, or defeat. If pleased, they granted rain and victory. As recorded in the Cambridge History of Ancient China, no decision, military, legal, or personal, was made without asking the ancestors first. At the royal temple, the king would kneel before rows of bronze cauldrons. The air smelled like burnt hair and old blood. Inside the cauldrons, bones cracked and hissed as fire licked their surface. Priests stood behind the king, whispering the names of the dead. Father Yi, Grandfather Zhao, Ancestor Wu Ding. One oracle bone from tomb M160 reads, "If Father Yi approves, we may take the army west." On another, the message is colder. "If Mother Xin does not bless the hunt, do not go." These weren't just spiritual questions. They were binding orders. A 2019 excavation report by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences showed that at least 39% of all named ancestors mentioned in oracle bones were past kings or royal mothers. That means the Shang throne was not just inherited, it was policed from beyond the grave. King Wuding's wife, Fu Hao, held power not only in life as a general and high priestess, but in death. As her tomb shows, she was buried with 755 jade objects, 468 bronze vessels, and the skulls of 16 slaves. Her spirit was still summoned by later kings for over 20 years after her burial. In 1978, a team from the Institute of Archaeology translated one bone found beside her coffin. It reads, "Fu Hao, strike the enemy with us. The king bows to you." In Shang China, death did not end your power, it sealed it. The Shang calendar was more than a way to mark days. It was a weapon. Shang kings used the stars, sun, and moon not to tell time, but to time death. A 2006 paper from the Journal of East Asian Archaeology found that most Shang human sacrifices took place during lunar eclipses or solstices. These dates weren't random, they were seen as doorways, moments when the gods were closest and blood could speak louder. To read the skies, the Shang created a 10-day week and a 60-day cycle, combining heavenly stems and earthly branches. These symbols still shape Chinese timekeeping today. But in the Shang era, they also triggered war. On one cracked ox scapula, a priest carved, "On Jiayin Day, attack the Chang. If thunder, delay." When that day came, it rained. The king Pan Geng was furious. He shouted, "This is the fault of the wind god. More blood is needed." As recorded in the Cambridge History of Ancient China, he ordered 30 prisoners sacrificed by drowning. Shang armies didn't march alone. They marched under storms, smoke, and spells. Bronze weapons were engraved with names of spirits. One blade reads, "To woo the thunderer, strike down the wrong." A 2022 excavation report from Anyang University confirmed that over 40% of Shang oracle bones include weather terms, rain, wind, cloud, frost. War and climate were inseparable. The Shang calendar didn't just plan life, it scheduled death.